Okay, question 3. Okay, here's f of x. Write down the equation of the vertical asymptote, right? Because I'm going to write here. You obviously never write here. You're supposed to write in the box below, but I just want to write here so we can see. The vertical asymptote is where the denominator equals 0, so x plus 1 equals 0, or x equals -1. The horizontal asymptote is y equals 2. It's when it's the limit as x approaches infinity. So as x gets bigger and bigger, you're left with 2 over 1. So y equals 2. Then it says, on the set of axes below, sketch the graph of y equals f of x. Okay, the other two things I want, guys, are the intercepts. So the y-intercept, this happens when x is 0, so it's just 0, 0, minus 1 over 1, which is -1. And the x-intercept, maybe I should say y equals -1, and the x-intercept is when y equals 0, which means the numerator equals 0, which means 2x minus 1 equals 0, which means x is equal to 1/2. Okay, so I have a vertical asymptote of x equals -1. Let's draw that in. X equals -1 here. And I'm going to write x equals -1 because it says indicate clearly asymptotes and position of points of intersection of the axes. So this is x equals -1, and we want y equals 2. We'll put here. This is y equals 2. The y-intercept is -1 here, and the x-intercept is 1/2, which is here. So now I just need to draw a graph that approaches this, goes through this, and approaches this. And remember, it also exists over here, approaches this asymptote, and approaches this asymptote. Something like that. That's fine. That will give me the full marks. And actually, guys, sorry, it says on your sketch indicate, so I should really say -1, 0 minus 1, and this guy is 1/2, 0, 1/2, 0. Okay. It says hence solve the inequality. This is bigger than 0 and less than 2. Right, where, guys, where is the blue graph bigger than 0 and less than 2? Well, it's here, isn't it? It's between here and here. It's bigger than 0 and less than 2. So the solution for this one, and again, guys, I'm going to write here, is x is bigger than 1/2, not equal to, because it has to be bigger than 1/2, and less than infinity. So you can actually just, because this is going to go on forever, so we can actually just put x is bigger than 1/2. Finally, for 2 marks, solve this inequality. Where is this guy bigger than 0 and less than 2? Now, if we recall, what happens to this function? This is the f of the modulus of x. What is the transformation? Well, the transformation is it takes the positive part of the x, which is here, and reflects it over here. So that graph would actually be, well, it would be something like this. It would come down like this to here, and then it would go up like this to here. That pink graph is what this graph would look like. It reflects the positive x values in the y-axis. Now, if you were to think about that graph, where would this touch or cross the x-axis? Well, it would cross the x-axis there at -1/2, and it would go on like this. So now, where is this graph bigger than 0? And guys, it would obviously come down there as well. But what we care about is where it's bigger than 0 and less than 2. So it would actually be here and here. So, guys, obviously you can remove or don't put in these highlighted parts, and don't even draw this on the graph because that'll just confuse the examiner. But I'm just putting it in for explanation's sake. So here, x is less than -1/2, comma, x is bigger than 1/2. Okay, so that's testing, guys, your knowledge of transformations and obviously drawing graphs. Okay, that's question 3.